The problem with music. Music, well, let's face it, we're in a pretty bad way here, guys. The internet and sites for pirating have completely defeated the record industry. Who would want to pay $20 for something that they don't even know is going to be any good? Well, that used to be the gamble, and that used to be part of the experience. Popping it into your CD player and knowing once you close that lid, your endorphins were stoked, your adrenaline was high, and if that first track was really good, it was enough dopamine to be considered an orgasm. And those goosebumps on your arm were as real as they feel. We have lost that kind of love entirely. Sure, we are excited that our favorite artist will pop up on the new release section of our Spotify account, but apples and oranges. We used to mark our calendars, set our alarms, so to speak, and in my case, head all the way to Rolling Stone Records at midnight just to pick up the very first copy. Now, we can look up movies now that don't come out for the next 5 years with a simple 2-minute search online, and yet we will still forget to see it. Things like albums and movies had importance. They took priority back then. It was something for us to do. Why would a teenager, a 16-year-old, ride a bus 12 miles away from home at the stroke of midnight, risking the chance that there will be no public transportation to take him home? That's simple. It's because that's how much the music mattered. I was not the only one. I was not alone. Try to think of a world with no access to music of all sorts other than the radio stations you listen to, the tapes and records left over from your folks, and the music that plays throughout your life just coincidentally. That means every kind of music had their own store, or there were record superstores. A shop and a floor would be entirely dedicated to having all R&B albums, pop albums, albums you had never seen before, all different colors that would light up the entire room, and some that you had heard your entire life. Everywhere you turn is another long haul of more albums for more genres and more music. Posters of classic records, monumental musicians, merchandise, the smell of fresh plastic in the air. You had Tower Records for the person that really loved popular music, Rolling Stone Records for the vinyl collectors, rock fans looking for rare oddities. For instance, I got my Green Day Nimrod Australian import edition. Came with bonus tracks. You had the basement for hip hop and rap connoisseurs, looking for the newest mixtapes, house originals, or just records for scratching. Then there were the sucker joints. These would be the record stores you either saw in your neighborhood or there'd be a large chain of them, charging almost twice the price, but simply because of their convenience. Easier to go to Coconuts than it is to go all the way to Best Buy. Our neighborhood had one called the Underground. I paid $25 for Green Day's Warning. The Nimrod import I bought at Rolling Stone was about $10. South Park has shown us in an episode that this hardly affects the already super rich pop stars at that moment. But that is not really the ones that get affected. It's really the lesser known acts, but most of all, it's the fans that miss out. You miss out on the care for the music, the attention to the detail of the album, and all the art that it would come with. Tool albums were always the coolest booklets and had the coolest extra oddities, as other bands left lyrics, liner notes, inside jokes with the fans. It made us feel more connected to our favorite artists rather than just staring at your phone and watching them eat breakfast. We cared about preserving them in perfect condition, mint, as we would say. Now, although music is pretty much free, we enjoyed going hunting for a new record, and as strange as it sounds, I think it's nevertheless true that although music is pretty much free and easier to access now, we actually have lowered our chance at broadening our horizons and being eclectic and discovering other music genres. And that's probably due to one simple fact, and that is the playlist on your music player is like a bubble. No matter how big, it's still a bubble. Think about that, guys. Check you out on the next one. See you on the other side.